Hey, yo, what's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of For the Record, aka Off the Cusp, aka Pennies on the Dollar podcast. How y'all doing today? My name is Rashad B. Easy Peasy, aka Shucks for our Peasy. I make it look easy, all deasy. Yeah, so today's episode, we're going to talk about cheating, why men cheat. I had a conversation with an associate not too long ago, and I feel like she gave her reasoning on why men cheat, and it makes sense. But I told her from my perspective, or from a man's perspective, anyways. I'm not saying that I'm a cheater, but from a male's perspective on why males cheat, it kind of differs. So she was basically like saying that he shut down on her. So the conversation went like this. Okay, so let's say you've been with somebody 30 years, 30 plus years, 20 plus years, yada yada, a long time basically. And we talked about how a person could never even have opened up to you. They could have been playing this role the whole time, and maybe they did open. There's also other possibilities to where they did open up to you, and then they shut down for whatever reason. So, what we were talking about, my thing was that it could be shallow people. First off, it can be shallow people. Second off, the difference between a man and a boy. So that's what I feel like a lot of women confuse, is the difference between how a boy presents himself, or how a boy fakes his manhood compared to a real man. Because a real man, he gonna be detailed with you. He gonna tell you from the jump what his intentions are, his goals, his aspirations, such yada yada yada. So for example, I want to open up a thrift store in 3 years. So and then she asked him, so how you gonna do this? Well, basically, I'm already have started. I've been looking into different land, property. Been trying to get like a tax-free document, or been saving money. He's detailed about what he's trying to do and what he's trying to accomplish. But neither there or say, going back to the cheating part. From my perspective, from a male's perspective, what I told her was like, men are simple. You know what I'm saying? It just all of a sudden, and that's another thing. Like she said, okay, so he wasn't open up all the way, but she didn't know at the time. So anyways, because he was doing stuff like cheating. Even before they got married or engaged or whatever, he was cheating on her. But he came to her and he's like, I'm sorry, I apologize. I ain't gonna never do it again. Woo, 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 and just feeding her lies. So, from going back to my perspective, a man cheats, and it's not just all of a sudden out the blue, I want to break up. I also have another associate, co-worker I had. She was married for 40 plus years, and then she told us that out the blue, he said, I don't love you no more. I want a divorce. So we have to pay attention to the build up to this point. I feel like ain't no way somebody just gonna come up out the blue. You got to be paying attention to the warning signs, just like the engine check light come on in your car and you ignore it. And then it builds up to a point where, okay, it's a major setback because you didn't take care of it when it right then and there. You know what I'm saying? The car stops, whatever the case may be, it becomes worse. And in this case, the man is like, I'm done with you. You personally could have been giving it your all. So my question is, he never came up to you and was like, hey, I don't like how this is going, or how you're doing this, or you're not doing this, and we need to talk about it. And then you kind of brush it off and still doing the same thing until it finally comes to a point where they're like, I don't want to be with you no more. Even if you've been with somebody, 2, 3, 4 decades, which is, goes into, also kind of bleeds into Jesus Christ or God, your relationship with God. Why did I say that? Is because like I feel like if you have God at the forefront, He gonna bless your relationship. So I pay attention to people like Michelle Obama, Barack Obama, how they talk about their relationship. And Michelle Obama, I don't want to misquote her, but I believe she has said that you have to accept this person's flaws. But in the midst of all that, you have to also communicate. And people say, oh yeah, you gotta be communicating, you gotta be compassionate when you first start talking to somebody. But do you really understand what communication is? These are actual examples of people that said that they seen their wife. As soon as they seen them, that was my wife. But the difference between the man approach and how they approach it, you just can't come up and come out the woodwork saying, hey, I want to marry you. No, a lot of women ain't gonna go for that. Especially nowadays. They want to be friends first, and then develop over a course of however long before they feel comfortable or whatever the situation may be. But you can't, as a man, you just can't come out and say that because they'll look at you crazy. So this is also for the man too. Don't come up to a woman saying that you all of a sudden that you want to marry, because she's gonna look at you crazy and she's gonna cut you off. Period. But yeah, going back to the whole self-evaluation. If you know yourself, then you can apply knowing yourself to your outside adventures, outside relationships. You can form a exoskeleton or a template as far as what you want to use moving forward to have a successful relationship. Let's forget about how long y'all going to be together, because if you look at how long y'all going to be together, that's one fault that you do not want to do. You don't want to do that because you're putting pressure and stress on a relationship that doesn't necessarily need that. You want to build, and you want it to be organic, and you want it to be natural. So, one, you want to calm yourself down a little bit, and it takes this is a maturation. It's a maturation over time. I kind of got off a little off subject, but I'm trying to. It's all gonna make sense. It's all gonna make sense. I am your relationship coach. I am your relationship expert. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So, but anyways, so cheating wise, men cheat, and it's simple. It might one might be a mistake. If a man cheats one time, it may be a mistake. But I got another one for that. It may be a mistake. All right. So if they continue to do that, then they just some dogs. They need to be thrown to the wayside. You know what I'm saying? But men cheat because some men, they just can't control themselves. It's just simple as that. They can't control themselves. And then also, when they told you, maybe from the beginning, for example, talk about the women controlling. Not controlling, I'm sorry. They want to change a man and vice versa. But we're going to talk about the women right here. So when a woman gets with a man, right? The man who is exciting, you know what I'm saying? It's a double-edged sword, because he could be a routine liar, right? So he's feeding you all these lies, and you believe it. And maybe you don't believe it, but you like, you know what? I still want to give him a chance because he's so excited. You know what I'm saying? He rocked my world. He made me think, blah, 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 all the other stuff, right? That's, necessarily might not be as important as the dignity and integrity of an individual. So, and women might not want to hear this, but a lot of women, they want to change a man. And it goes vice versa. A good example from what I was told with Megan Good and her husband, who was a preacher, a pastor, or whatever. And he didn't like that she didn't change as far as like talked about control issues. We talked about love at first sight. We talked about cheating, the reasons for cheating a man's side of things, and I hope I gave you guys a good perspective of why a man would cheat. God bless.